This is Mr. Thompson, and this is the second, or I guess third video, if you count the first video where we built the wheels. The third video showing you how to build this simple combat robot, Antweight combat robot. So last video we built the shell, and I guess in this video what we're going to try and do is put the motors, the gear motors in. So let me just show you. If I hide the lid there so we can see inside it, you can see there's a bracket there and a gear motor. Now I designed the bracket, but I didn't design the gear motor. I got that from GrabCAD. So GrabCAD is a website where people do their own designs and they share them with everybody else. So thank you to, I think I pronounced this, Jean Victor Andreji, I think. Apologies, sir, if I got your name wrong, but thank you very much for doing this wonderful model, wonderfully detailed model, which I downloaded and have used. Now, you don't need to download from GrabCAD because I will put a link in the description of this video, and you can download Xiao's motor with my bracket all together as one assembly. So let's do that right now. So I'm going back to my simple bot. So this is where you were last time. What you'll need to do in your folder here is, or in your, what do we call that, the data panel. If you haven't got your data panel open, click on the 9 dots there so it's open. You can upload, so click on upload. Oh, actually before you do that, jump onto the description of this video, download the file, follow the link, and download the file and save it somewhere on your computer. So maybe in your downloads folder would be a good place, but make sure you know where you've downloaded it to. And then you can come into here and you can click on upload and then select files, and there it is there. It will probably have a different icon depending on what you've got installed on your computer, but there it is. It's a step file. So if I click on open like that, let's see, there it is now. So now if I click on upload, and it will load into here. Now it's a fairly complex model, so it might take a minute or so to upload. Okay, there it is. That actually took a couple of minutes for me. Sometimes it takes only a few seconds. This one for me took a couple of minutes. Anyway, there it is. So now I'm just going to click here and I'm going to drag and drop it. Now it doesn't matter where I drag and drop it, because no matter where I put it, it will go at the origin. So in it comes. Fusion's a little bit slow for me today. There it is. Okay. So now you can see it's placed it right at the origin there. Okay, now before, I'm not going to click OK or anything here yet. If I just click on front so I can see what's going on, I'm going to move it up. Actually, I'm going to move it right up here to start with, and then I'm going to move it across a little bit to about there. Just approximately, it doesn't matter exactly where it is because I'm going to move it exactly in a moment. Now if I scroll down, if I scroll my view cube like that and then click on top like that and then scroll in a little bit, I'm going to place it, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place it quite accurately using this arrow here. So if I zoom in a bit further, can you see when I'm zoomed out, it moves by 5 millimeters at a time? I need better than that, so I'm going to zoom in a bit. If I zoom in like that, now I can move it 1 millimeter at a time. So if I do that, I'm going to move it about there. So can you see that's the, I guess the edge of the bracket there, and there's the edge of the shell. So I just want a bit of space there. So not like that, not like that, so about there, okay? So I'm going to put it there. So for me, that's 12 millimeters. Right, now if I come back out again, I'm just going to click on OK, like that. Oh, now before I do that, actually, see this thing here that says ground to parent? I'm not sure if that's going to be on or off for you. Best thing to do for you is to take it off. In fact, let me just show you what happens if you put it on. If I go OK like that, then see that little anchor? That little anchor there means that it's grounded to parent. That means I can't move this motor. Now I need to move it, so I don't want that. So I'm going to right click here and unground from parent, or in that previous dialog box, if I had made sure that the ground to parent wasn't ticked, that would have done the same thing. So the important thing is that this component here doesn't have the little anchor. So we do want the anchor there. We don't want the anchor there. Okay, so now that means I can move it, but I'm going to be very careful in the way that I move it. In fact, this has got multiple components in it. So what I'm going to do first before I do anything else, I'm going to right click here and I'm going to turn that group of components into a rigid group. Now what that means is it's not going to, when I align different faces, it's not going to pull those faces apart. It's not going to pull the object apart. It's going to keep it all together as one group. So I want to do that, and I'm going to click on Include Child Components. So everything inside there will be one group, and I go OK. So now it'll behave as a single component, which is what I want, because I don't want to go pulling that apart. All right, having done that, what I want to do next is I want to align a few things. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to align the bottom of the bracket with the floor of the robot. So to do that, if I just scroll around a little bit like that, so I can see how I've scrolled it so I can see the bottom of the bracket. In fact, if I can't see the bottom of the bracket, if you can't, what you could do is you could turn the robot off, the robot body off like that. So then you can easily see it. But I don't need to with mine. Okay, I'm going to go Modify and Align. Now what Align does is Align will move things around, but it'll move things very precisely so I can line up certain faces with other faces. So my From is the bottom here. Now I don't want to click there, and I don't want to click there. I don't want to click on any special points. I just want to click on the bottom face somewhere that's not special. So like that. And now if I zoom out again and use my view cube to scroll a bit, so that's my From. Now my To, I want it to align to the floor of the robot. So if I click on that, like that. Now if yours didn't move, it's probably because you didn't get rid of that anchor there. So mine's moved down there, so that's good. So I can just click OK. Now I don't want to capture position yet, so don't do that. We'll capture position later when we're finished. Okay, so clicking OK without capturing position. Okay, now I need to move it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move it, I'm going to align it all the way over here to the back wall, and then I'm going to move it a certain distance across. So I'm going to start by moving it to the back wall. So let's do that. I'm going to go Modify, Align again, and I need to select that side. I can't see it, so I'm going to turn the robot body visibility off. Okay, now if I come around here, my From needs to be this face here. Yeah, turn the robot body back on again, and my To needs to be this face here, like that. Again, I don't want to capture position, but I'll go OK. And now if I come and have a look, if I click on top there, you can see it's lined up there. So it's in the right place backwards and forwards. Now I want to move it a certain distance this way. So I'm going to use Modify, I'm going to use the Move command. Now move what? I'm going to move components. Which components? Now I'm not going to select here. I'm going to select over here. That selects the whole lot like that. So select it there like that. And how far do I want to move it? Well, I want to move it. I actually want to move it. I'm going to go 14 or 13. I think 13 is going to work for me. So 13. So let's do that. So I'm going to move it 13 millimeters. So I know now that this face here is going to be exactly 13 millimeters from the inside of the shell. That gives me enough room to put the battery in there. Okay. So now, actually before I do that, I think this is all, yeah, that's in the perfect position now. So now I'm going to capture position because I don't need to do any more moving after this. So, okay. And now you can see that's exactly where I need it. Okay, so yeah, so there's a little bit, you can see there's a little bit of space there, which is what I want, but the axle's sticking through and I can put my wheel on the other side there. All right, now you may be thinking, hang on a minute, you've got that motor just sticking through the wall, but there's no hole in the wall. So let's put a hole in the wall. So let's rotate around like that a little bit. I guess if I click on back, that works, doesn't it? Okay, so I want to put a hole in the wall. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I'm working on the right component. So my hole needs to go in my robot body. So if I click on robot body and then activate it by clicking on this point here, now when I put my hole, it's going to be in the right body. Okay, so let's go, let's see. Yeah, actually, that's pretty good. Just check that everything's okay. Actually, I'm just going to click away like that. So, yep, click away so it's not blue so I can see a bit better. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sketch on this wall here, like that. Zoom in a bit. Now I'm going to do, actually, let's see, I should be able to do this straight away. If I go C for circle, and, oh, actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Escape, I'm not going to do C for circle. I'm going to do P for project, because I need to project this circle. I need to project that into my sketch because I need to use that. So if I go OK now, see that's purple? So that means that's in my sketch. Now the reason I want to do that is, can you see now it's also put the center of that circle in my sketch? Because I need to make sure that the center of my hole is aligned with that. So now if I do C for circle and click on that center point there, and then I think I'm going to make that, I'm going to make it 5 millimeters. 5 millimeters like that. Okay, and so there's my hole that's going to be in the wall. And now I can do E for extrude, and I can click that hole there, and I'm going to make that extrusion a cut. So I'm going to push, I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to extrude one direction to object. Now the object I want to extrude to is to the back of this wall. So I click on the back of the wall there, and that has automatically turned this extrusion into a cut operation. So it's going to cut a hole in my wall. So click OK. Okay, and now you can see the motor is sticking through a hole in the wall there. So that's good. All right, now let's see if I can move a little bit more quickly now. I've done a lot of talking. Now we need to put some holes here through the floor as well so that we can put some screws through here. So I guess if I press or create another sketch, and this time I'm going to put a sketch on, let's turn it upside down. I'm going to put a sketch on this bottom layer here like that, and then I'm going to do P again, P for project. Now I can't see the holes, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to temporarily turn the robot body off so I can see my holes. So that hole there and that hole there, I'm going to project them into my sketch. So I click OK like that, and it's given me a warning, but that's okay. I can turn that back on again, and now you can see those holes now are actually in the sketch on the bottom of that surface there. So now what I can do is, well, actually, you know what? I want those holes to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to just create an offset like that, and I'm going to select that curve there, and I'm going to make the offset. I'm going to make it, if I make that offset about 0.2 millimeters, that should actually, yeah, 0.2 millimeters should be about right, because I want my screws to go through that hole, but I don't want the screws to grip on that hole. I want them to be able to slide freely through that hole. So that hole's got to be a little bit bigger than the hole in the bracket, because the screws need to grip into the hole on the bracket. So if I go OK like that, good, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So make an offset, and I'm going to make it about 0.2 like that, and then go OK. Now I'm going to E for extrude, and I'm going to extrude not just the inside circle, but the outside circle as well. Again, the inside circle and the outside circle. And I'm going to use, and I'm going to turn those into holes. So again, it'll be extrude to an object, and the object I want to extrude to is the top side of the floor there. So there's the top side of the floor, like that, and just checking, yeah, that's worked. So now I go OK, and there we go. Now, you might think that's a whole lot of work. We have to do that all again, but no, we can take a shortcut. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mirror all that stuff that I just did. So if I create mirror, let's see, where are we? Create a mirror. Now I'm going to mirror components first. So first I'm going to do is I'm going to take that component there, which has got all of my motor and my bracket, and I'm going to mirror that. Now, which plane am I going to use? So I'm going to click on select plane, and you can see just lightly there, you can see there's our origin plane. So that's the origin plane. Because I built my robot symmetrically, I can use that plane to do the mirroring. So if I mirror there, click on that plane there, and you can see it's put it over there. That's exactly what I want. I'll go OK, like that. And can you see now I've got two motors, and it's placed it in exactly the right spot because I lined up the first one, then I did the mirror, and it's lined it up nicely. Now we also need to mirror those holes. So let's do that by going create mirror. And this time we're not mirroring components, we're mirroring features. So feature, and then I'll come down here and I'm going to select, actually, you know what? I'm going to do it down here. See, if I select that's one feature, see how when I click on that on the timeline, I click on that extrude, that was the extrude for that hole there. So if I click on there, and I'm also going to click on there, because that was the extrude for those holes down the bottom. So it's going to, and then I select my mirror plane. And again, I'm going to select that mirror plane there. And it's going, and I'm, now whether to use adjust or identical or optimized, I don't really know which one is going to work. So this is a bit of trial and error. So I'm just going to let it do its default thing. By default, it's going to use adjust. If it does something weird, then I come back and try a different one instead. Let's try adjust. And has that worked? It has. Okay, so that's done. All right, that's enough for this video. That was quite long already. I'll make another video in a minute, and we'll put the wheels on, and we'll put the lid on next.